In this video, we have another student client interview, whatever you want to call it, with Stavros. And yeah, man, you can go ahead and give yourself a little bit of an introduction. Super excited to talk about what your journey actually has looked like. But yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, bro.
So my name is Stavros. I'm from Greece. I'm an appointment setter for the past like 7 months, I think. Yeah, it was around January when I first met you. So yeah.
Yeah, and now things are a little bit different, right? I guess the 7 months you were an aspiring appointment setter. We went through a couple of roles that, were, they had some potential, but they weren't exactly what we were all looking for in terms of the 1% role. And just recently in June, actually, is when you got
Mhm.
started with the role that we're obviously going to be talking about here. But yeah, man, you've been here for a minute. You've obviously been swiffing through like just a ton of different approaches in terms of trying to find the role that will make it happen for you. And so, yeah, I'm super happy to know that you're here now. We can finally have this interview, but let's go ahead and start at the beginning. So, how did you first find out about like high ticket appointment setting in the first place?
So when I first met you, I would say that I was in a spot where I wanted to just make money online. I was really interested in like become an entrepreneur online on the whole business world. And yeah, I had tried multiple things. I had tried drop shipping. I had tried a little bit of affiliate marketing. I was disgusted by how it worked, to be honest with you, because I literally had no skills and everything. And yeah, I was trying to learn about sales overall. And I just came across some videos of you and other YouTubers talking about appointment setting, and that it's literally the best way you can start with sales because it's basically sales. You actually just sell the call, not the deal at first. So yeah, that's how I met you. That's how I learned about appointment setting, and yeah, that's how
Got
things
it.
started.
Cool. Appreciate that, man. And I mean, to be honest, like a lot of people have very similar starts where, like you mentioned, they want to make money online. They don't necessarily know how, so they end up falling for just different avenues that are sold to people, like drop shipping, SMMA. I mean, it happened to me, right? Like I started an agency as well when I first started because I thought that was gonna get me to the 10K a month that everybody wants. The thing that people like ignore, and this is I think what you realized eventually, is that people are trying to go from 0 to 10K instead of trying to take the approach of 0 to 1K to 2K to 3K and then working the way up. And to be honest, that's why like a lot of the competition does not make it eventually. So I'm glad you came to that realization, man. And I guess the next question for you is, what was it that intrigued you about appointment setting? Because obviously the make money online is like really cool. That portion of it is obviously cool. Is there anything about like appointment setting that called to your attention in terms of maybe the freedom, the skill set? What do you think there?
Yeah, um, as I said, I think it's literally the best way you can start by learning something. It's literally a simple skill, and when you can learn it and try to develop as a person, I think it's literally the best way you can start on making money online.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's really cool that you can work literally from everywhere. Like you can literally just be in the bathroom and take and book calls. You can literally do everything with having a proper role, a
Uh-huh.
proper gig.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the location freedom and the location and the time freedom that everyone talks about.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. And let's go into the specifics about that because I don't think we actually mentioned where you're from. Where are you based right now?
I am from Greece, in Europe, a small country in the yeah in Europe.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah, so that's the thing. I don't know if people might be like interpreting you might be based in the US or whatever. Like, no, you're in Greece and you're
No. Mm.
so you can literally do it anywhere, right? Like the last student interview that we had with Caleb, he's in the UK. I've got people in the US, right? So it's just it really actually is all over the place. And I guess like now that we've got the successful role that you've kind of been looking for, things are going really good. We'll talk about the details there, but in terms of the time freedom that you actually have now, what are some examples that you have noticed where you have made money doing something else? Because for me, it was like, for example, like I've made $1,000 on a yacht appointment setting, right? That was like one of the fun examples for me, or just on a hike or whatever. What was there? Is there an example for you that you think you can relate to?
So far, I'm only working for 1 month for a proper role, for a proper business.
Mhm.
So there's not there yet, I would say, but it will, yeah, like
Got
all
it.
the roles, all the offers that that I was working with in the past didn't really have this this amount of I would say freedom or success that I could say I make money from the comfort of my home because I really didn't make it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, there's not something like this yet,
So
unfortunately, but yeah,
I would say that's probably the case because it is your first month, and rightfully
yeah,
so. Like the first month, you always want to make sure like you do prove yourself. You can prove that you can actually
yeah.
do the work.
The first month I was literally every weekend, every day in my home, just trying to book appointments, and yeah, I was really grinding the first month.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really just trying to prove to myself that I was serious enough about this.
Mhm.
So yeah,
And it
yeah,
worked out, to be honest. If anything, like
yeah, it
it's a
worked out.
good
Yeah.
thing you decided to go down that route and just make sure you're in full grind mode because yeah, I guess we can yeah, talk about the details in terms of what that offer looks like. So if you want to break down like what kind of business was it that you ended up finding and getting into? And just break that
Mhm.
down in terms of like, yeah, how it fits into 1% role category for you.
So the business I'm working with right now is an online fitness coaching business. Uh, it's for fat loss for women. Um, and yeah, it's a 1% role because the business owner is actually a business owner and not a guy that just want to to make money online, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Because I can now see the difference of what a proper offer looks like and what a proper online business looks like. Um, like if I try to explain you how this other business that I was working with um, were literally moving around the space, this interview would actually be transformed into a podcast, I would say, because it was really the whole situation there was really trash. Like I can just give you some details later, but it was really trash, bro. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool to have someone with proper systems, someone that is running ads and have everything in place for you, in order for the business to success at first, and then for me as an appointment setter to be happy and make money and be successful, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I can see the
Got it.
difference now.
Yeah, man. And to be honest, like, yeah, we were talking about on the previous client interview with Caleb, something similar, where he went through other offers that weren't necessarily like quite there where they needed to be, and more so like startups. They didn't really have a business to begin with.
Yeah.
Would you agree that, for example, those situations are almost like a blessing in disguise because now you have that information, and even more so that you're on an offer that can generate you the amount of money you're looking for. You know the difference now. Does that make sense? Would
Mhm.
you agree?
Yeah. It's basically what Chris, the other student that you took an interview with, just said. You actually just getting paid for being in a school, in an online business school. That's what he said in a
For
previous
free.
interview. Yeah, for free, and not for free. You're making money.
You make money. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you make money back. Like you just serve your skills in the business in a simple way, and you just learn everything about business, and you can then later like start your own business, transform into a closer. You can literally do everything by just learning this simple skill and finding this 1% role, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. So
Yeah.
yeah.
100%, man. Honestly, like, yeah, it's been really cool to see like where you started, where you're at right now. Let me ask you this, like, what does the people around you think about, the situation that you're in? Like, I know you have like a girlfriend, your parents. What do they think about it?
Yeah. So it's really strange, bro. It's really strange. Like my friends, I actually, when I try to explain them what I do or how I make some money, some good money actually out of
Mhm.
appointment setting. They're just staring at each other's because it's literally that simple. And they're like, you can't make that much amount of money by simply, doing that, sending DMs, sending DM messages, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, my parents cannot still believe it. They think it's all sometime going to end.
Mhm.
But yeah, we are here to prove them wrong.
Right. Which is
Mhm.
fine, like if
Yeah,
anything,
it's fine. It's fine. Yeah,
they're meant to keep us safe. They're meant to try and like
yeah.
help us or whatever. So
I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. Like they grew up in a really different area of life.
mhm.
They didn't even have cell phones, bro. Like you can't blame them. So yeah,
They couldn't even appointment set back in the day, huh?
yeah, bro. It's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, we are in a new age of things, of business, of how to make money, how to make an income and stuff. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, like there's people probably watching this who sometimes they think appointment setting is like too good to be true or whatever. But to be honest, like the way business works is it's pretty much all about leverage, right? How
Mhm.
can you build as much leverage as possible? Well, the way you do it is you partner up with somebody who already has the most leverage in their industry. So they already have everything set in stone for you. You just have to go in there, give them some value, help them buy back their time, and you get paid very well for it. So yeah, I'm glad that that's happening. Let's go
Mhm.
into like some details, bro. So you were officially on that offer for about like 3 weeks before the
Mhm.
month ended. So we could just cover what you made in those 3 weeks. How much did you make?
So yeah, there were literally 3 weeks of calls only, and I made like $2,300
Mhm.
to be exact. And yeah, we're probably hitting like 40 this month if everything is going as it is planned. And yeah, tons of growth. And this 2000, $2,300 is probably going to double by next month and triple over the next month. So
Mhm.
yeah, we're here to grind and scale this business where we can.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
man. And honestly, like that's a very big reason why we're on the call is because number one, you found the offer you've been looking for. Number two, you've gotten paid very well for it within the time that you've been working. 2,300 used to take me like 2 months or 6 weeks or something like that to make that when I was
Mhm.
working in like a 9 to 5 warehouse job. And like you mentioned, it really is just the beginning because within this 3 week period, you're still like finding your footing in terms of the offer, in terms of the client avatar that you're talking to. And as you like progress over time, it's just going to get better and better. And you're going to start going like on full auto mode, right? And like you
Mhm.
mentioned, more than likely when you have a full month, it's going to double, possibly even triple. I have no doubt that within the next couple of months, especially on this offer, where
Yeah.
you have good lead flow, a closer is set up, and then you have literally all the opportunity to work with, you can easily make 6, 7K easy, right? And I
Yeah.
don't think
Yeah.
like I think you think that as well. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're hopefully in a business that the guy really cares about his business. Like he's all day trying to find better ways to improve, better ways to, you know, scale this whole thing up.
Mhm.
And the goal, to be honest, is 100K. I don't know if it seems far, but the goal is that.
Yeah.
And he has everything around him to do that, right? To be successful. So yeah, I'm really trusting him, and I really hope we can do this together and see sometime, see sometime him making 100K per month and me making 9 or 10K a month. So yeah, that's what I'm dreaming about right now. So yeah.
Yeah, bro. And honestly, like I mentioned, the way things are going, like it seems like they're going up there, right? So it's really just a matter of everybody like staying dialed in on the team. To be honest, bro, like you may even potentially, and this is one of the more important things that I like to talk about appointment setting, or people that get into it with is cool. We're making money with appointment setting. Eventually, we're gonna make some more money. But the purpose as to why we even got into the space is skill development. It's so later on in life, like maybe 2, 3 years down the line, doesn't have to be super long term, but we can essentially become bulletproof, meaning doesn't matter whatever business we decide to start, it doesn't matter with whatever industry we have to decide to get into, if we have to pivot, whatever, it doesn't matter. Learning skills will always by far outweigh making money in the short term. And you're learning a super valuable skill, and you can potentially learn another valuable skill like sales, like real sales, like a closing type of role, right? And this is the opportunity that I like to push everybody towards, where they have a chance to prove themselves, where you have already proved yourself with high ticket appointment setting, but the next it's going to be closing. Is that something that you kind of want to like
Exactly,
potentially
bro.
aim
Yeah.
for?
Yeah, exactly. My next goal, my very, very first goal, was to land this interview, right? So I can, finish with appointment setting in some way, not finish, just find the right gig, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. So the next step is just try to develop as much as I can when it comes to setting, and then transform into a closer when I finally dial in things properly with my English accent, because you can obviously see that it's not fluent as well.
Mhm.
And I'm really trying to speak as much as I can every day to,
Yeah.
yeah, to become fluently as well sometime in the future. And funny thing is, in the first, I don't know if you remember, in the very, very first time we met, I couldn't speak like that. So another thing that appointment setting has helped me is improve my English overall. Like, I speak Greek. I don't. My English is not my first language, and it's really cool, for me as a 19-year-old to have a job that it's mostly on English,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm developing on this area as well, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's funny, man. Actually, now that you bring it up, like when we first started, it definitely wasn't where it's at now, which is crazy. It's crazy to see
yeah,
what
yeah,
really can
yeah.
happen.
Like, yeah, message after message, after interview and after interview, call after call. You know how it goes. I just try to make it better every day.
Mhm.
And it wasn't that I didn't have the certificates and everything. It just, as a guy from Greece, that it's not his first language, it's really different to actually speak the language in a job, like, than having the certificates and the proficiencies and everything. It's
Yeah.
completely different when it comes to speaking the language with a guy that he's from America or he's from the US, or from UK. So yeah, yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
happy about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you almost like I can imagine like having an accent and stuff like that, not feeling super proper. You can almost feel a little bit intimidated, like talking to people who do have very like fluid English and
Yeah.
whatnot. But yeah, man. I mean, I think up until this point, like you've definitely improved a lot there, and I have no doubt in my mind. Like for example, you're slowly starting to like check a bunch of boxes that I imagine you have like internally and mentally. Where number one, it was like, cool, get on this interview. Number two, make a certain amount of money with high ticket setting. Number three, make sure we get fluent in English. Number four, move on to closing. And you're
Yeah, yeah,
just
exactly,
slowly
bro.
checking everything off.
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
Um,
exactly. That's my plan exactly. Yeah.
yeah. And I think, dude, like, I hope at least people can watch these like interviews and take some inspiration. Because there's a lot of people that are your exact age and they still want to get into appointment setting. They might be a little bit older. That might be my age. They might be 24, 25. And they feel like they have a lot of limiting beliefs holding them back. Like, for example, I can't speak well enough English, or I can't do this, I can't do that. But to be honest, man, like you have pretty much like every single time have proven like the how do I say, the stereotypes wrong, right? Where people think that they
Mhm.
can't get into something because they're this, and that. So I commend you for that, man. I appreciate you for like having the amount of work ethic and persistence that you have had. There's people out there that would get started on this journey. They do 30 days of something and they just give up, but they don't see the long-term vision of, aiming for something bigger than just making money now. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Uh,
bro.
Let me ask you this, bro. Like, what do you think in terms of the training and stuff, like the back end course content, some of the times that me and you have spent, the group calls when we've gone on them.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, what do you think? How do you think that has had like an effect and an impact on you?
Yeah, I would say that the courses and the material overall in the program is exactly what you need in order to become a 1% setter. And I'm saying this because every offer is completely different. So you're not, you don't specifically need something extra. Like you just come in the program, take what the course is, go in the hop on the calls, on the weekly calls, and just try to copy paste the skill into the role and the frameworks, and just try to be a good setter, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like it covers everything you need to have in order to become a good setter in whatever offer. It doesn't really matter because, as I said, every offer is really different. Like a fitness offer and a fitness offer is extremely different than a scaling business offer, for example.
Mhm.
So all you have to do is just have the basics, the idea, the concept, whatever you want to call it, and just try to frame based on what the company will give you as a script
Mhm.
or a framework, so you can actually be good at it, and then build off of that, develop develop it as much as you
Yeah.
can. So yeah,
100%. And yeah, for anybody out there like wondering like about more about the course content or whatever, I honestly built everything in the sense of being a little bit like anti-course because I have taken courses before. By the way, like this entire program is not just a course, it's like, coaching, a community, the course content,
yeah,
a bunch of stuff stacks on. But yeah, like I mentioned, I do have like back-end course content and I just always hated having to go through like hours of course content and I just try to make it as short and sweet as possible and really just get to the point with everything. And like you mentioned there, like personally, I'm not the biggest fan in terms of scripts in the DMs. I think they're ungenuine at some point. I don't know. I personally just feel like people can see past it in the DMs. And so that's why I teach what I teach. I teach like principles behind appointment setting, and you
yeah,
can essentially mold it into any offer, like a fitness one, like an executive coaching one, right? The list goes on and on. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate you kind of giving insight into that. And yeah. And honestly, dude, like the last thing I want to talk about is how you got this role. Because I was obviously reached out to by the coach who you're working for, Nick. I'm pretty sure you saw my story, gave a huge shout out to
yeah.
you with how you're doing and stuff. And this role that you actually landed came within our network as well inside of First Class Edit. It was from another individual, Leon, actually. So shout out to him.
Mm.
He's the one who brought
Yeah,
it up.
yes, I thought to him.
Um,
Yeah,
let's go ahead. Like I guess like what would be the how would you signify the importance of having a network? Because realistically, without the network that we had inside the community, we probably wouldn't be talking here. So what do you think is the importance of having a high value network like that?
yeah. I think it's the most important thing, because all the roles I landed in the first place, all of these 6 months, were just from reaching out to guys all alone, and nothing seemed to be a 1% role. Like having a network can really drive you extremely far. Like Leon just referred me to the guy, to Nick, to my coach, and just everything started from there, and the rest
Mhm.
is history. So yeah.
Right.
So yeah, having a network is probably the most important part here. Like you can never know what will happen when you have a guy for this, for that, for that. So yeah, it's the most important thing, bro. Like just reaching out all alone wasn't a really enjoyable situation I've put
Mhm.
myself in. And yeah,
Yeah, and a lot of people, unfortunately feel like that is what's going to find them that role. Just outreach, outreach, outreach. A lot of people just think the way you're going to find the role is like to just ask, ask, ask until somebody decides to give us. But to be honest, like
yeah,
I would compare that to somebody who's like a beggar on the street or something like that. That's just kind of looking for a little bit of a handout. And rather, you need to be, valuable. You need to position yourself in a way where you're going to deliver and help somebody. And that's exactly what happened, right? Like within our network, whatever, he just had the opportunity at hand, and that's how you were connected.
I would say that you can still land the role uh, by reaching out to people all alone, but it won't be the role that you will be looking for. Like
Hmm.
when I first met Nick and we hopped on an interview together, I just, that was the thing that I told him. I am from Sergio's program, and he just told me, "Oh, you're from Sergio, you were hired," something like this. It's really great there. Like he said, he told me Sergio really does a great job, and I think everything everything is in place right now for you to be on the team. And yeah, it plays a big role, bro. Like yeah,
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, dude, this is has been a fun interview, to be honest. I'm just super glad to be on here, man. And I know it's like we're barely hitting the surface. I'm excited to see where you're gonna be in the next months because I know it's not gonna stop here, right? With appointment setting, you want to
yeah,
make as much as you can and then level up. You don't want to be an appointment setter forever. And I have no doubt you're eventually going to end up as like a closer, maybe even starting your own business within the next like year or so. So that's gonna be exciting to see, man. Any last minute thoughts that you want to like say about the program, me, whoever, doesn't matter.
um. So yeah, if I try to, my biggest like phrase that I kept from my whole journey is just not give up. Like because I've went through so much city situations in this journey so far, my biggest like the biggest thing that I kept from this is just not fall for anything and just continue going. Keep going, keep doing what you do. The 1% role will eventually come sometime. And yeah, I've put myself into some really shitty situations, bro. Like business owners were blaming me, sit around this, and yeah, the motto is just, not give up. Do not give up. The 1% role, I was feeling this. I was feeling that sometime will happen, would
Hmm.
happen. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I wanted to tell.
Awesome, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you leaving that message. And yeah, just to close it out, if you're somebody who's watching this video, you want to be like Stavros, you want to make $2,300 in 3 weeks, and eventually go on from there to make four, six. We've had people in the program who even hit 10K, which I don't doubt Stavros is eventually going to get there. Yeah, if you want to get in that position, you don't want to have to do a bunch of cold outreach and not land a 1% role, then you guys know where to find me. The link is down below to chat with myself. And Stavros, I appreciate you being on the channel, bro. And yeah, I'll make sure I keep like Instagram and stuff updated with like your results and stuff like that. Cool.
Yeah, bro. Sounds
All right,
great, bro.
bro. Sounds good.
Peace.